Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the King's Court, your one-stop shop for information, analysis, and announcements regarding the upcoming ShoutCraft Kings June tournament that kicks off on the 24th of June at 8 AM Eastern. Time's on the screen right now for all regions, and it is a special Saturday indeed because we will be broadcasting directly following the GSL Finals. The best StarCraft 2 tournament in the world, followed by the ultimate StarCraft 2 King of the Hill in a day of incredible StarCraft action. I'll be giving you a preview of the upcoming GSL Finals during the show, as well as telling you what to expect in the upcoming ShoutCraft Kings June tournament, announcing some players, and of course reminding you what the hell happened last time, because we have been on hiatus for the past 3 months. Regardless of that, ShoutCraft Kings is back, and all the information you'll need to know is right here on the King's Court. With the GSL Finals looming on the horizon, a very significant foreigner-only event also occurred in Sweden. WCS Jönköping has recently concluded part of the Dreamhack circuit of events, and StarCraft 2 was represented in grand fashion. A wide variety of players from all over the world attended, and the results may very well not be too much of a surprise. Regardless of facing down some tough opponents, the eventual winner of the $25,000 prize was none other than Neeb, who was able to defeat Cyril in an extremely close 4-3 series. Cyril, perhaps one of the biggest surprises of the tournament, the Finnish Zerg carving a bloody swath through player after player with exceptional performances in the group stage and round of 16 bracket. Cyril demonstrated a master of the Zerg versus Zerg matchup, coming out first in a group containing Scarlet and True, then felling Stefano 3-0, and of course in the semi-finals, Elazer, one of the big surprises of last year's BlizzCon World Finals, also 3-0. His Zerg versus Protoss obviously wasn't lacking either, since he took down the French hope Petit Drogo 3-1 in the quarterfinals, and narrowly lost to Neeb in a nail-biting series. Cyril's perhaps been one of the best-kept secrets of the foreign scene for quite some time, regarded by many as one of the best foreigners, regardless of not having that big win under his belt to solidify his presence and popularity. His run through to the finals of WCS Jönköping should certainly help his profile, which can also be said for several other players in the tournament. We saw a surprisingly deep run from Brazil's very own Kellezer, certainly considered for a while to be one of the best South American players, but putting on a really good performance at an international land, something that we haven't really seen from him. And also a surprisingly deep run from Root's very own Cham, the Mexican Zerg player who was able to make his way out of a Zerg-only group in first place and then defeat Snoot 3-2 before falling to Elazer. That is a lot of Zerg. I would be interested to see Cham perform against other races, his ZVZ obviously in ascendance right now, but cool to see a player that doesn't really get a lot of international recognition storm onto the scene in a major way. Another surprising success was Semper from Canada, who made his way out of Group B in first place, defeating Nurchio, and otherwise having to contend with the up-and-coming Chinese star Time, as well as Poland's Ziggy. While there were several surprising deep runs from lesser-known players, it's perhaps more noteworthy to have a look at the players that you would have expected to do better and yet were unable to make the cut. True bombing out in Group C was a very big surprise, considering he was pegged to perhaps win the entire thing. TLO, unfortunately, was not able to make his way out of an admittedly pretty tough group, falling to Petit Drogo and Neeb. And an unfortunate performance from the veteran Protoss Mana in his signature matchup, Protoss vs Zerg no less, meant that he left Group C in last place. The other two biggest shocks of the event, at least in my mind, were Nurchio losing 3-0 to Petit Drogo in the round of 16, and Snoot losing to a relatively unknown Zerg, as we mentioned earlier, by the name of Cham. It's exciting to see a new wave of foreign players attempting to take the spotlight. The question is, of course, how would they do facing off against some of the best that Korea has to offer? Well, this is what ShoutCraft Kings June is all about. We brought in more foreign players than ever before so that we can have these South Korea versus foreigner matchups. There's going to be plenty of them, and I'm certainly hoping to see some pretty awesome upsets. After a couple of hopeful foreigners were roundly defeated in the early stages of this season's GSL, who will take up the torch as the foreign hope staring down the Korean overlords? Will it be WCS Yon Shopping's champion Neeb? Well, that's a question that you'll get to see answered. ShoutCraft Kings June on Saturday, June the 24th. Neeb will be participating in our event once again. Will he be facing down the Koreans? That I can pretty much guarantee. Will he be able to hold the line? That's a different matter entirely. Tune in to find out. The GSL Finals happens on June the 24th, directly before ShoutCraft Kings. The times on the screen right now will tell you where you need to go and when you need to watch. But I can guarantee, as always, that it will be a phenomenal event. The GSL is the best Starcraft 2 in the world, and for a very good reason. Time and again, the caliber of player has excited and amazed those that have watched, and the finals this time around are going to be very interesting indeed. A fan favorite, perhaps, in the form of Gumiho, a man that has dominated the online scene very much in the same way that Beyond did for quite some time, and yet a player that, despite his popularity and experience, his debut coming in the 2010 GSL Open, if you can believe that, so very long ago, he has yet to capture a GSL championship. The closest he got was in 2012 with a round of 4 finish against Dongray Gu. And while he has had success in smaller events, including the fairly recent Ting Open Season 3, the big prize has, as of yet, eluded the Towel Terran. And yet, the person he faces may very well have the biggest GSL curse of them all. His opponent is the perennial second-place finisher in the GSL. He is the one and only Sue, and he has yet to capture his GSL. And perhaps in the most heartbreaking of ways, he has finished second place in GSL on no less than 5 separate occasions. 2013 WCS Season 3 Korea, 2014 GSL Season 1, 2014 GSL Season 2, 2014 GSL Season 3, if you can believe that, and even this year, 2017's GSL Season 1. The Kong Curse, as it's called, a phrase dating back to Brood War, describing players that consistently ended up in second place in major tournaments. It's alive and well in Sue, and perhaps the biggest example ever in StarCraft 2. Perhaps even worse than the issues that Marine King Prime used to have years and years ago. And yet, here he is again. His run through this season's GSL has been nothing short of astonishingly dominant, coming out in first place in groups that have included such titanic players as Trap, Solar, Dark, the runner-up in the 2016 World Finals, Maru, the Prodigy Terran. He decimated Classic in a 4-0 annihilation during the semi-finals, and now he faces off against Gumiho, somebody who has not found this degree of success at any point during his career, who has had an unbelievable run in GSL Season 2. It's been incredible for him, especially after joining a foreign team, and bringing that level of success home to his team Storm Gaming would be absolutely incredible. And yet, here we are, the finals between two players who have failed to capture glory. Who will come out on top? Well, we had an early preview of that just a few short days ago in Oli Mo League Weekly 93. Sue faced off against Gumiho in the finals. Gumiho took the series 3-0, a clean sweep. This is, by the way, after Sue dominated Innovation, Ryung, and HHS, 3 extremely high-quality Terran players. Gumiho, on the other hand, is known for playing mech, and playing mech in an unusual way. We've seen it time and again in his various encounters within ShoutCraft Kings, and that mech has often taken players by surprise and given him wins against players that are considered to be superior. Sue's current form against Terran does put it as his weakest matchup by a pretty significant margin. Gomiho has been having some issues against Zerg, but nowhere near as severe, and when it comes to beating Su, he does it more often than not. That was not the only Oli Moly tournament in which Gomiho faced Su in the finals and won. Just 3 weeks ago, at June Weekly 91, he faced Su again in the finals, winning this time with a much closer 3-2 result. This puts Gomiho as the favorite, despite the dominant history of Su. One has to wonder if this will yet again be another second place, or will the curse finally be broken? Well, here's something a little bit interesting, because I can tell you for a fact that whether the curse is broken or not, Su will be playing in ShoutCraft Kings June. We will either have ourselves the brand new GSL champion, or a Su who has taken yet another second place, just not quite able to close the deal. Which Su will we see? Which Su will it be? And how will he perform in our Ultimate King of the Hill? Well, we will get the opportunity to find out. A very exciting little crossover with GSL and ShoutCraft Kings. Make sure to tune in to the GSL Finals, folks. It is going to be phenomenal. You'll get to see many of the players of the GSL in this month's ShoutCraft Kings tournament, and while I'm sure they'll face off against fellow Koreans, they will also have the opportunity to face off against some of the world's best foreign players. That's the theme of this month's ShoutCraft Kings tournament. It is GSL versus WCS Yon Shopping. It is Koreans versus foreigners, and I'll tell you a little bit more about a few of the players that you can expect right about now. Opening the tournament will be our reigning King of the Hill. He's been able to take it a little bit easy over the past few months since he hasn't had to defend his crown, but Alive will return to defend against all comers. And what a series of games he had in ShoutCraft Kings March. It was absolutely phenomenal. Alive proved time and time again that you just can't keep him down. He was on the edge of defeat several times over, and yet was able to bring it back. Certainly showing not only glimpses of the dominance of Alive from years past, but new tricks, skills, and a veteran instinct. Alive's performance in other events has not exactly been up to par as of late. He hasn't really been able to capture that former glory, but inside the gauntlet of ShoutCraft Kings, he proved dominant. He was able to defeat Patience, Neeb, Biol, and Classic in some nail-biting games that I'd highly recommend watching from the ShoutCraft Kings March tournament. If you happen to have missed them, the VOD's available on this channel right now. Go check them out. They were excellent, and if he's able to bring that killer instinct to bear once again, I'm sure his reign will continue. He already has 4 wins on the board. Or will he be dethroned early, as we see more often than not from Kings returning to defend their crown from the previous month? It's difficult to face down an unknown opponent without a real warm-up, but if he gets into rhythm, we could see Alive becoming one of the longest streak Kings in the history of the tournament, which would be pretty damn cool. That said, he's going to have an awful lot of challenge to go up against with our player roster this month. Some of the best from South Korea and some of the best from all over the world. We've already announced that Su and Neeb will be attending the event, both of whom are incredible players. Neeb, of course, falling to the current reigning king in the previous ShoutCraft Kings tournament. A potential for revenge there for the WCS Yon Shopping champion. But of course, that is not all. After his surprisingly deep run in WCS Yon Shopping, we are very pleased to welcome back Kelazur, who will be representing Root Gaming and the country of Brazil. I'm intrigued to see what he can do, considering his incredible Terran versus Terran performance against Semper and Euthermal, just dominating those matchups. But what would happen if you ran into a high-quality foreign Protoss, like, say, Petit Drogo, who will be attending and representing the country of France? Strong performances in WCS Yon Shopping from him as well, perhaps an ascendant little dragon on the rise. He will be participating, and we'll see what he can do against the might of South Korea. once considered to be one of the strongest foreign Protoss players with a series of wins against strong Korean players. Will he be able to bring that once again to the table? We have many other top foreign players willing and able to compete in ShoutCraft Kings this month, but we're not going easy on them. By no means are we going easy on them, because we do have some of the best players of all time for you. And the last reveal that I'd like to give you today is a man who very rarely shows his face in ShoutCraft Kings. This is a rare drop indeed. This player has only participated in a single ShoutCraft Kings tournament and didn't make it very far. After joining his new team Splice, he's looking to make the impact that we all know he can. One of the most talented Terran players in the world, we welcome back TY. No, we're not messing about. We absolutely are not. Do not mistake foreign versus Korean for weak lineup. We have some of the best. It's going to be exciting, and more to the point, you are going to get to see matchups that you rarely ever see anymore as a result of the segregation between the South Korean scene and the foreign scene. The best from all over the world competing in a brutal format for a large sack of cash. What more could you ask for? Myself and In Control will be bringing you all the action starting at 8 a.m. Eastern, the times on the screen right here, following the GSL Finals. Everything available on twitch.tv/TotalBiscuit, and if you miss any part of the show, a rerun will follow directly afterwards, and of course, the spoiler-free VODs available here on youtube.com/TotalBiscuit. Big thanks to everybody for showing such enthusiasm for this event. I know we've had 3 months off, but we're looking forward to coming back with a bang. ShoutCraft Kings June, Korea versus the world. It'll be great. I'm looking forward to casting this event, and I hope that you will all come along to witness some amazing Starcraft action. Watch the GSL Finals, see the result, see whether or not we will have the GSL champion, or will he enter Kings June with the Kong curse intact. We'll find out. It's gonna be great. My name's been TotalBiscuit. Thank you for watching the King's Court, and I will see you next time.